What is up, YouTube? Today in this video I'm going to discuss my Glock 23 Gen 4, and I'm going to talk about two main things with this pistol. Why I chose this pistol as my first 40 Smith & Wesson caliber pistol, and the reason why I chose the Gen 4 over all the other Gen Glocks. So let's get right to it. This pistol itself and the 357 SIG Glocks are a triple threat for Glock pistols. Now, what do you mean by a triple threat? With 40 Smith & Wesson and 357 SIG Glocks, you're able to change the barrel calibers to 9mm, 22 LR, and 357 SIGs. Vice versa, if you have a 357 SIG Glock, you can do the same thing. Now, with the 22, you have to buy an interchangeable barrel and a slide, but I mean, that still counts as a triple threat. And another thing too, 40 Smith & Wesson 357 SIG magazines are interchangeable since they share the same parent casing. When it comes to the barrel, it's a different story with 40 and 357 SIG. So, for example, you can't shoot a 40 in a 357 SIG. Personally, I've never tried it, but I'm not going to try it. And shooting a 357 SIG in a 40. Worst case scenario, you damage your gun and you injure yourself. Now let's get to the best part slash reason why I chose the Gen 4 and not the 3. Which, you know, the 3 you can save money, or the Gen 5 you can get a bigger slide and frame. Let me explain. So for many reasons, one of them being the grip with the finger grooves. Obviously, with Gen 5 23s, you're gonna have a better grip and recoil management for that 40 cal kick. But who wants a big thick gun unless it's a 10 mil or a 45? The way I've got around it, without, you know, adding all these aftermarket parts and upgrades to suit my needs, this is just one solution that is literally a universal solution to any gun you buy, and that is more training. Yep, it's that simple. Why bother getting a bigger gun to deal with grip and recoil management for the 23 when you can just invest more money into ammo and work with what you have? See, a lot of people go, you know, on my recent short, I talked about how I traded my Gen 5 for a Gen 4. And they can say all they want about Gen 5, you know, this and that. All it really boils down to is the fact that you don't have a Gen 4 and you can't find a Gen 4. But I have a Gen 4 and you have a Gen 5. It's not like I said, I'm not here to shame anyone with Gen 5 Glock 23s. I'm a fan of Gen 5s, but would I buy one over a Gen 4 knowing I'll probably spend extra $100 for a Glock generation released over 13 years ago, and the fact that I'm shooting 40 Smith & Wesson in a 9 frame? And to that, I'll say hell yeah, because it's my preference. And I forgot to mention one key point here. They stopped making Gen 4 Glock pistols. When I was in a search of a Gen 4 Glock 23, they were rare and expensive on Gunbroker and most gun websites. I seen one, excuse me, for sale, damn, used model going for $825. Nothing special about it, just a Gen 4 chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. Luckily, I found this baby in my local gun shop, just sitting there, couldn't help myself, and it was like the heaven gates when a shop clerk pulled it out. Instantly, I traded in for a Gen 5 23 and never looked back. It's one of those things where when you understand the supply is less of, or my bad, let me put it this way. When you know that you can't get it down the road anymore, you kind of have this mindset to where it's never going to happen unless you grab it. See, in the back of my mind, he was a big HK fan because I really wanted to get one, but the thing was money. See, and then down the road, I slowed down and realized that if I hadn't bought an HK over a Glock, I would have had more problems down the road with holsters, parts, and customer service from what I've read up in here. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, like I said, Gen 5 Glocks especially 23s, have a bigger slide for that 40 Smith & Wesson. And I'm not here to shame anybody. I'm just telling you that they don't make Gen 4s anymore. And eventually these things are going to be so uppriced to the point where nobody wants to sell them and everybody wants to keep them. And to be honest with you, that's the way how I seen it when I noticed that this thing on guns.com was $825. Like, you got to be out of your goddamn mind if you think I'm gonna spend $800 on a used pistol. But see, the thing is, no one wants to give them up or sell them. See, if you're lucky, you're lucky. But if you're not, you're not. Then you have to settle for the Gen 5 or the Gen 3s. And most people don't want Gen 3s because don't even know what's wrong with Gen 3s, to be honest with you. I think it's got something to do with Cali politics. California got involved in Gen 3s, and now nobody wants Gen 3s, but Gen 3s is the one that started the whole trend, or my bad, the whole Glock look. Gen 4 perfected it, and Gen 5 just kind of like, I don't know. But I fuck with the I fuck with the Glock 45 and the Glock 19X. You can never go wrong with those. Now, to be honest with you, this is honestly going to be my last, one of my last 40 Smith & Wesson Glocks, because it's kind of like, I don't know. I read so much, and I read so much about 40 Smith & Wesson and other pistols designed for the 40 Smith & Wesson 357 SIGs, and sadly to say, Glock was just kind of like, you know what, we gonna beat everybody, and they did it with the Glock 22. You know, that's a little gem out there. You would assume Smith & Wesson would be the first manufacturer of a pistol made in their caliber, which they collab with Winchester, but nah, Glock beat them with the Glock 22, which is kind of crazy, because you know, the top two budget friendly out the box, no upgrade pistols right now, in my opinion, is Glock and Smith & Wesson. If you got a problem with that, please leave it in the comment box, and I'll see you guys later.